Well, the White City has finally returned. I'm Tim with Stud Studio, and today we will be reviewing set number 11377, The Lord of the Rings Minas Tirith. This set is absolutely massive. As you can see, this thing is enormous. This is the largest LEGO Lord of the Rings set to date, and we have been waiting for this set for literal years. It's micro scale on the outside and minifigure scale on the inside. And somewhere in there is the Hall of Kings that I will absolutely be making Denethor cry in. So let's see if the capital of Gondor is worth a small fortune, or if, like a certain steward, this thing is all spectacle and no substance. I should also like to mention that the Grond GWP is available June 1st through the 7th, 2026 on qualifying Minas Tirith purchases, but be wary that these GWPs tend to sell out pretty fast, so you'll have to be fairly quick to pick one up or secure that GWP. But we will review this set in another video. 3 years after Rivendell brought Lord of the Rings back to LEGO, fans have been begging for one set above all of the others, and it is finally here. Set 11377 Minas Tirith. 8,278 pieces, the biggest LOTR set LEGO has ever made, and the first time we've ever gotten the White City in brick form. Today we're cracking it open box by box, running through all 10 minifigures and figuring out whether Gondor's capital is worth that $650 price tag. Let's get right into it. Let's start by taking a look at the amazing box this set comes in. As usual, the box art uses the all-black theme that indicates the 18+ age rating. On the front you get a front-facing view of the complete Minas Tirith build, with the usual LEGO, LOTR, and Icons branding shown in their respective spots, and the age rating, set number, and piece count along the bottom. The left side gives a front side profile of the build with the minifigures placed inside, while the right side is a more of a top-down angle. On the back is a rear view and look at the inside of the build with a dimension schematic in the top right, an image showing how the set separates in the top left, and a collage of images highlighting the set's features along the bottom. The top of the box shows a nice view of all the figures in the set with a 1:1 scale brick micro minifigure statue in the top corner for size comparison. Opening from the top of the box, you're greeted with a beautiful artwork on the 3 sub-boxes contained inside. While you might think the art denotes exactly which section of the build is in each box, that's only partially true, as it gives a more general idea of what's inside. Like Box 2, for example, shows the rear and interior diagram because it contains a lot of the parts for that section, but it's by no means the whole interior. With that aside, each box has beautiful art regardless, and each one has a nice Tree of Gondor art in the corner. The first of these sub-boxes contains 18 numbered bags, 2 non-numbered bags of larger parts and cloth items, and the first 2 of 3 total instruction manuals. These 2 come in a paper bag that I had to rip open to access. Box number 2 contains more numbered bags and our final instruction manual, also in a paper bag. And finally, box 3 contains more numbered bags, bringing us to a total of 60 numbered bags. I think these sub-boxes are great. They're designed in 2 halves, with one side acting as a cover, so when you go to build this thing, it really helps with piece management, especially on larger sets like this. Taking a quick peek at the instruction manuals, the first manual contains most of the background info, giving an overview of the city's history and a note from the designers. The next page gets into a gate section of the build, and the second manual gives a word about the Hall of Kings, and lastly, the final manual has a page on the Court of the Fountain. Let's get right into the build and figures. All in, this set comes with 10 minifigures plus a Shadowfax horse figure, so let's run through them, starting with our 4 Gondor soldiers. I am a huge castle fan, so it won't surprise you to hear that I love these guys. If LEGO made a $40 battle pack with these, I might rack up a lot of credit card debt because these knights are absolutely insane. Each one wears the same uniform with the same gear, the only difference between them being their head molds. They have unique leg and torso printing, showing the Tree of Gondor on the front of the torso, with some minor detailing on the back. They all come with a chest plate that also has the Tree of Gondor on the front, and no printing on the back. The new helmet mold is decently accurate to the helmets in the movie. In my opinion, it works very well. Each soldier surprisingly has a unique head expression, with 3 of the 4 having an alternate expression. Finally, each soldier comes with a spear and a very nicely detailed shield with that Tree of Gondor and the 7 stars printed on it. Like I said, I'd give anything for a cheaper way of obtaining these guys, and it's something I truly hope LEGO looks into. Gandalf the White and his horse Shadowfax both make an appearance in this set. I feel like the inclusion of Shadowfax is more of an added bonus. He's just an all-white horse element, nothing we haven't seen before. Gandalf the White, however, is certainly a huge upgrade from his last form. He now has more accurate printed legs and a torso with back printing. He has a new white spongy cape, and his beard and hair are standard and nothing new. And he has a nice face print, but notably no alternate expression, which is a downgrade from his previous version. Accessories include a white staff and his sword Glamdring. Overall, I appreciate the quality of this fig, and he's a good inclusion to the set. Riding in with Gandalf and Shadowfax in the movie, it would be a tragedy not to include Pippin, and here he is in a never-before-seen outfit for the character in LEGO. It uses the same torso as the Gondor soldier guards, but he gets a different colored pair of dual-molded short legs, and a unique head print with an alternate expression. Aside from those, his sword and cape are all fairly standard. Up next is an all-new fig for the lore lineup, Denethor, the Steward of Gondor. The details on his torso and legs depict him in his black robe attire with light chainmail underneath, some wrinkle lines on the back for extra detail, and two unique expressions. One a more resting face, the other a concerned or surprised look. Maybe the moment he realizes the mistake of trying to murder his son right before he lights himself on fire and throws himself off the peak of the city. An absolutely necessary inclusion to the set. Equip him with a tomato and see him in the steward's chair so he can drown himself in pride and so on. The set also includes Faramir, fitted in his Ithilien Ranger garments made up of printed legs and torso with some back printing to go with it. He has a green cape and a sword. His head holds two expressions, one normal, the other angry, and he has a new orange hair mold. This is also his first appearance in LEGO, and I'm glad he was included. An overall solid fig and perfect for the lineup. Arwen, in her lime green celebratory gown, is an amazing figure, even though there seems to be a lack of printing on the dress itself. Her torso is beautifully decorated with silver details that extend to her printed arms, and her head has great detailing too, depicting her crown as a print though. She has two expressions, one a normal at-rest face, the other a large smile. Her hairpiece is dual molded but not unique, as it was used in Rivendell. She carries an amazing fabric banner that also detailed in silver, making up the Tree of Gondor, the 7 stars, and crown and root details. It's a spectacular inclusion, and I'm glad they chose a fabric banner as opposed to something like a printed plastic part. A couple of things that could have been enhanced on this fig, like a unique hair mold, particularly one with the crown worked into the hair, and some detailing for that dress piece. Lastly, accompanying Arwen in his splendid rule of Gondor is Aragorn, crowned king. This is technically the first version of him in LEGO. The previous closest version had him in similar attire but no crown. Taking a good look at the print shows him in his kingly attire and armor. Underneath the armor he wears silver and gold-lined black robes, with the Tree of Gondor on the front and some details on the back. But we also get excellent armor detailing on his arms, and it just looks so good. His chestplate element is also unique from the guards. It's colored a more deeper tone of silver gray, with gold detailing depicting the King of Gondor crown insignia. His cape is dual-colored fabric, red on the inside and black on the outside, and his head expressions are unique. One side a stern resting face, and the other a kingly smile. Finally, a dual-molded hairpiece is included, his hair with the Gondor crown on top. This is certainly the most hyped figure in this set, with the most attention to detail given, and rightfully so. It wouldn't be complete without a great King Aragorn to sit on the throne inside this beautiful set. Speaking of the set, let's take a look at all of the details, features, Easter eggs, and more that the designers were able to pack into this massive model. All 7 layers are indeed represented here, with the main gate and outer wall being more minifigure scale, at least on the interior, while the rest is micro scale, leading all the way up to the peak of the tower. Let's start by pulling off the outer wall. It separates very easily, held in place by peg elements, and now we can get a full view of this section and all of the details that make it up. The exterior is largely white wall and towers with masonry brick elements and other pieces intermingled in the wall to add a lot of texture. In total, it's made up of 5 wall segments, one being the gate, and 6 towers that rest in between them. The gates are very beautiful and represent the source material well. They use the sand green accent color that a lot of the roof pieces share. The gates open up easily with your fingers, and that leads us to the interior, which is just packed full of minifigure scale details. Going left to right, we have a carriage full of hay and a little chicken on the ground poking around. Right here, we have a market stall selling some fresh produce, potentially where Denethor picks up his daily supply of tomatoes. Further along, we have a barrel with a fish, a nice potted plant, and we come up to a larger inner tower with some seating underneath. To the right is a very nice water fountain detail and a small flower. Crossing over to the right side of the gates, we get a nice staircase going up to the top wall access area, and just underneath that is a sword rack, another small flower, and a nice little window with a statue inside. Further along is another water drinking area, another weapon rack underneath, another larger inner tower structure with another potted plant next to it. There's a good amount of flame elements littered throughout as their main source of lighting, as well as 2 braziers on top of the tower access floors. Now let's take a look at the main exterior and the rest of the layers. All of the walls are made up of mostly white bricks, with those masonry bricks as details and all other bricks attached to the exterior to give it more depth. All over these walls are small micro-scale buildings, windows, and towers. Just so much detailing all over this thing. On many of the walls are small town trebuchets that will be used to defend against the orc army. Of course, dead center is the mountainous rock this city was built on, leading up to the pinnacle of the city, nicely detailed with mostly gray and tan elements. Then at the top of the build we have the long walkway where a fountain and white tree of Gondor are placed, as well as a microscale tower and palace. The whole structure is just insanely accurate to the movie, and I can seriously appreciate the dedication it took to design. On each of the sides of the bottom of this scale are little walkways where the outer wall attaches. They have each a brazier and a nice little flooring texture on the bottom, but we also have 2 additional detachable pieces up on the 3rd layer. These sides come out just like this and allow us to view the rooms underneath, and they have a little interior of their own that we can appreciate. The left one has a torch and a wood pile inside, while the right holds a palantir. It's made using a printed minifigure head. One side shows the watchful eye of Sauron, and the other shows what looks to be a Gondorian or Rohirric warrior on his steed, potentially an Easter egg for the next upcoming Lord of the Rings set. With those interiors now exposed, let's take a look at what was underneath that palantir room, which is a sizable room containing a detailed bed with a table and some tea next to it, a little chair and a dresser with some items inside, and a candelabra on top. On the left side seems to be a library or research room, potentially the one where Gandalf studies to learn more about the Rings of Power. This room is just amazingly detailed with bookshelves, candelabras, scrolls on tables, and many papers littered throughout the tables and desks inside. That brings us nicely into the main interior of this thing, which is the Hall of Kings. Starting at the bottom, this whole area is nicely tiled off using printed and non-printed tile pieces. Each side has a golden stool at the very back, and each side also has a statue displaying one of the former kings of Gondor. These statues are great. They use the new King Aragorn hair mold, but in solid white, and their pedestals have a very cool printed tile design showing off the Tree of Gondor. Both statues sit inside their own black arched area, and those black arches are made up of beautiful pillars that adorn the whole Hall of Kings. In the center is, of course, the throne, all white on a white pedestal with stair tiles going up to it. Flanking the throne are 2 lighting fixtures, and the steward's seat, all black, is placed to the left-hand side of the throne. Across from the steward's seat is a table with dining elements like meat, a goblet, and a bowl of those tomatoes, which are actually the cherry element, but they represent the cherry tomatoes close enough. Behind the throne are some white vine detailing pieces, and leading up to the top is a very well-rounded, detailed dome. The dome makes use of large golden shelf elements and gray shield elements to get the right angles and feel of the overall dome shape. Then coming down from the top of the dome is a fantastic light fixture that uses 4 different shield elements to get that shape just right. It's all as accurate as can reasonably be, and the whole interior here looks phenomenal with all those black detailing pillars, arches, and windows throughout. This set is truly something special, being the first Minas Tirith set ever made by LEGO. and such an accurate and faithful representation of it, it really is worth that extra praise. The value proposition at $650 is a bit steep, and I feel it's a tad overpriced. If you're thinking about picking this set up, make sure to grab it soon before that gift with purchase timeline runs out or the set sells out. Already on the aftermarket, that Grond gift with purchase set is a tad expensive. I hope my review of the LEGO 11377 Lord of the Rings Minas Tirith has given you some great insight into this set and its minifigures, and maybe even helped you decide whether you want it in your collection. This set is a certified recommendation from the Stud Studio channel, and I can't wait to review more Lord of the Rings sets in the future. If you guys enjoyed the review, make sure to consider subscribing. It would help me out so much to keep making these reviews on the channel. And let me know down in the comments what you want to see me review next.